Hey guys, so I'm doing the major arcana circle, and I'm starting off this is Robin, and I'm starting off the story. And I've shuffled my little mini cards, and I'm just going to go around starting with the Fool as the instructed, and go ahead and get on with that. Okay, and I'm just picking them all at random from the top. I'm not like going through and choosing them, so I'm just going to have it unfold as the cards come out. Based on the video, I couldn't quite tell. It sounded like you could do it either way, so I'm just going to do it this way. Okay, so for the Fool, the beginning of the journey, the Fool decided to get going because they were having this feeling of like needing to shift. They were not happy with where they were at, and it was time to start a whole brand new journey. And so that is the impetus behind the Fool's journey, is to not be out in the cold anymore. And and these are all the things that are just coming to me as I'm talking, okay? So the other thing that I got was this person is like, I don't know if it's this one or this one, but it doesn't really quite matter. Like, we'll just say this one because she's kind of like walking away, and this person's kind of like dragging her down. so the Fool, she's like, okay, I can't be with you anymore. I gotta go. Even though you're my son. No, I'm sorry. Okay. So the impetus for this Fool's journey is that this person needs to get on to better pastures. They want to elevate their status in life. They're sick of feeling out in the cold. They need to get more pentacles. They're just kind of like, okay, this whole down and out is not working for me anymore. So I'm making up my mind, and I might not have a net, but I'm going anyway. So that's that piece. And then for the Magician, oops, sorry. There's the Eight of Cups, and so that's interesting because in the Five of Pentacles, I was saying that the one gal was walking away, right? And so then here's the Eight of Cups, and the journey is going, and they're walking away from something that wasn't serving them anymore, hence the brand new start of a new cycle, right? And so they realize that where they're walking away from isn't serving them anymore. And so they have gotten, they've looked within, and they realize that they have everything, that they need. Like, this is like the Magician step, basically. This is the card for the Magician pull, and they have everything that they need to go. They don't need to be in any kind of codependent energy. Like, they can do it on their own, and so that's what they're doing. And so with that, there is an ending. There is an ending of what they were walking away from. The Five of Pentacles also indicates like a partnership of some kind. There are two people that are out in the cold, and sometimes sometimes there's, like, say, relationships that can drag some folks down, especially in codependent ones. And we'll see what ends up happening aside from, like, say, when the Devil card pops up. But either way, so this is on the High Priestess. So the High Priestess, like, intuitively, this person knows that something has to end in order for the next thing to begin. And that is also a part of the walking away piece, and knowing that they have it within them. And, in times like that, there can be optimism, but there can also be a lot of pain and grieving. So, there's all kinds of room for more than one feeling to happen. Even if the beginning of the new journey or the new cycle can feel optimistic and hopeful and bright, it can also feel sad with what you're leaving behind, if in fact that is what's happening. And in this reading, it is. Okay, so then the next is the Empress, and this is the gal that's just like she doesn't have to chase anybody, right? She knows with the Empress I want to show you the Empress. She's great. Let's go. So I basically have my little circle out like this, and so I'm kind of doing it like this. I don't know if we're supposed to do it like this or what. But either way, the Knight of Pentacles is here, and so with the Empress, this is, at this stage in the journey, there's a new level of confidence that has been reached. The Empress is like a culmination of all the queens, and so I'm thinking with the relation between the Knight of Pentacles and the Empress is that, like, she's like, okay, well, what am I gonna do now? Like, it's gonna take some time, but I'm planting the seed and I'm going for what I want. And I'm going to grow something. I'm going to make something of my situation, and I'm going to do it with verve, but I also don't have to rush. So that's that. And I'm not going to try to make this too long, because I don't know how I'll be able to post the thing. So the next is the Emperor, and we have the Seven of Wands. So the Emperor is, like structure and order and planning and all the things. And so it's kind of like, okay, well, the Empress decided that she was going to be, planting her new seed, Pentacles, and going for what she knows and going for what she wants. And now with the Emperor energy, there's an aspect of the journey where it's like, okay, she's got to protect what's hers, right? Like, this is a time to take care of herself and and that's okay, like taking care of herself, planting the new seeds, starting the new journey, making basically building the plot line of her own. And interesting, the plot, like you a plot of land is what you grow. Anyway, so yeah, plot of the story, plot of the land. It's like she's creating the core of her story, and so with that, she's feeling very protective of that. She's feeling really protective of, not having anybody come in and mess up her chi. Okay. Oop. These little cards, they're so cute, but like they can fall out of your hand because they're so little. Okay, so the Hierophant, doctrine, marriage, commitment, spirituality, all the things. I'm not too sure why that's called the marriage card. I feel like it's the doctrine card. Yeah, anyway. So here with that, there's a commitment, and this could be a commitment to a job. Based on here, it would be a commitment to a vision. It could be a commitment to a plan, a future plan. Because by and large in this journey, she was at the Knight of Pentacles, just a couple steps ago, and then here all of a sudden there's 10. Now, typically this is like the culmination of all the hard work. but we haven't seen a lot of the hard work coming on in before this. We see like the ideas and the drive and then the boundaries and the structure. But seeing as this is connected to the Hierophant, it would appear that this is the commitment, like the commitment to the dream, the commitment to the end game. At least that's what I'm getting from this. So this person is completely committed to creating a very wonderful, bountiful life for herself. And if that involves another person, great. If it doesn't, that's cool. She could also just get a couple dogs, like, and have like grandpa come hang out or something. I have no idea. But either way, like, this is the vision, and there's a commitment to this vision. Okay. So then we have the Lovers. The Lovers is a choice, and also Lovers. So yeah, obviously there's the Five of Cups, which typically goes along with the Lovers, at least in this girl's freaking story. But anyways, so yeah, for this person, there's a choice. There's a choice. You could focus on spilled wine or not. And I think that there's always, there's always a grieving period, and you want to allow yourself that and really give that, the credit that it's due, and work through those feelings. However, with the Five of Cups, I feel like the invitation is to, you can do that grieving, but that's not where you want to live. And at this point, at this stage in the game, it would appear that, and given that the Five of Cups was pulled on the Lovers, there might be a fixation of the loss of the past. And what you're being invited to do is turn your attention towards, what it is that you do have. You get to choose. Do you want to focus on the past and the loss, or do you want to focus on the future and focus on the two cups that are, basically there? There's still love to be had. Not all is lost, and we all have the freedom of choice in order to choose one. Choose that. Okay. Okay, and then so the Chariot, we have the Chariot, so, a choice has been made, and so now a Chariot's been set in motion again, so whatever's behind this can't be stopped. Once it's in motion, it's in motion. But sometimes you can kind of get pulled in a lot of different directions, because you have like these two little lion people. That's weird. I never really noticed that before. They kind of have like lion bodies with human faces. Okay. Who's there? Let's see. Boom. So the Four of Wands and the Chariot. So, there was the Lovers, there was the choice. You could focus on the bad, like the loss from the past, or you could focus on, the future and the love that you do have. This could be for yourself, it could be for another person, it could be for, like a brand new beginning. And so this is a card of celebration, and when it comes to the Chariot, it would suggest, like in this Fool's journey, that, yeah, like choosing to, tell yourself like not all is lost and there's still love to be had, and my Two of Cups is in my future. With that in mind, like that kind of endeavor and that kind of desire and the open want of that is set in motion. And eventually, there will be a Four of Wands. There will be a commitment and a family, or just a partnership, stability, like the four legs on a table, basically. But here we have the Hopa and the people celebrating, and that's wonderful. So then there's this part of the journey. After the Chariot, we have the Strength card, and let's see. Yeah, so it takes a lot of strength to leave something behind. So perhaps at this stage in this Fool's journey, there could be I'm trying to think for a sec, because the strength card can mean a few things. And it can provide a couple of different storylines. There's like doing something that's uncomfortable. Also, like taming your own inner lion. This could also be like the strength to really process that leaving behind. This could also be like strength of like looking at where you came from and realizing how much strength that took to leave and to start your Fool's journey from the beginning, right? So when you reflect on your inner strength, this could be something that comes up, for this person and their Fool's journey. Like, it took a lot of strength. It took a lot of discomfort and uncertainty to get in this boat and go, to even begin the whole Fool's journey. So it takes a lot of strength to strike out on your own without any other resources. You just kind of go because you know that there's calmer waters beyond. And we have the Hermit. It's deeply self-reflective, going out, kind of doing the soul work. Yeah. A lot of times in doing this work can bring up a lot of anxieties. So this is a part of I see this very much connected with the Fool's journey and then the Hermit mode. There's a lot of looking toward things that have been hard. Now, the Hermit is not a card of isolation. It's a card of deep self-reflection, meditation, calm. I feel like the Hermit, there are certain major arcana, and maybe this can be like a fun little video that I post on another time, but just kind of to share with the group. But I feel like different major arcana go hand in hand with certain minor arcana. And when I see the Hermit, I think of the Four of Swords. Like the Four of Swords is that time of rest and recuperation and all those things. And I feel like that is the case for the Hermit. But, with regard to the Hermit, it's not just like, okay, I'm going to take a break, meow, meow, meow. It's like, I'm going to really, there's some shadow work. This is like the shadow work card in a way. And with the Nine of Swords coming up with that makes perfect sense. It's like, dang, it's hard to, face yourself in some instances. So for this Fool's journey, I would say that there's some work to do. Perhaps there was a big emphasis on leaving the things that were not going well, that it was kind of like, okay, well, I'm going to replace that with like having my eyes on the prize. And, there has been accomplishments and then there has been some losses, but, this is a solitary energy. And what is coming up for you in this solitary energy? What's coming up? The wheel is turning, you can't hold on. Da, 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 da. That's a Grateful Dead song. Okay, so Two of Swords with the wheel. It's kind of a trip. Two of Swords would indicate some kind of stalemate, and then the Wheel of Fortune is like sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. Rolling along with the wheel of life. There's an energy coming through here when it comes to surrendering to fate and surrendering control. Doesn't make this person feel free and easy. Like, in the face of any kind of surrendering, really makes this person feel like they want to put their guard up. And in this kind of energy, there's really no movement. I mean, it's kind of a trip. It's like this energy and this energy are almost like in direct opposition of each other, because I feel like the Wheel of Fortune really or maybe not requires is too rigid of a word, but like the Wheel of Fortune invites you to have flexibility and trust. And this doesn't say flexibility and trust. This says rigidity and distrust. And so, I mean, I would invite this person to, with this card on this card, and also coming after the Nine of Swords with the Hermit, it's like, what is it about control and not having control that puts your guard up? That would be a good question, I think, to ask. Okay. Then we have the Justice card. This is like a crossroads card, This is like when you really get to the point of like self-evaluation and making a decision. And that takes a lot of fire, a lot of courage. And, maybe after this whole dark night of the soul, like, here is the Queen of Wands, and it's like a phoenix rising from the ashes, so to speak. And Justice is like the Justice card is like a fair self-evaluation, crossroads, bringing things into balance for oneself, really looking at oneself with a lot of truth. And with the Two of Swords preceding this on the Wheel of Fortune, I think the other invitation for that Two of Swords was to pull the wool off of your eyes. So you pull the blindfold off and let your guard down, to really kind of to know that it'll be okay, that you're safe. And nothing has to come in without your permission, basically. And this, coming to the place of really looking at yourself, and having a fair assessment, calling yourself out on your own stuff, definitely puts you in an empowered position. The Queen of Wands is just like, I don't know, it's just like a really good spot to be in. It's just like, for me, one of my favorite queens. Really, truly. Okay. Okay, so then after some self-evaluation, you could like have a shift in perspective and maybe waiting. Could either be waiting or surrendering, You get to choose. I think it's important, like, how this energy is used also, because sometimes you could be in the Hanged Man energy and kind of be like, life is happening to me. But with the Hangman coming after the Justice and the Queen of Wands, like, I don't get the sense that the Queen of Wands is just going to sit around and have life happen to her, you know what I'm saying? So, I believe this one would, in this Fool's Journey, would represent like a shift in perspective and a practice and a getting comfortable with surrendering, because the energy that was around the wheel was not surrendering. I'm feeling very rigid and very scared and all those things that would keep one, like, guarded. So here we have the Queen of Cups. I think, like, really getting in touch with how you feel about something and having compassion for your own situation, having compassion for your position in life, and having patience for the position, patience and compassion. And the Queen of Cups, like, she doesn't have any kind of emotional experience that she doesn't want to, as far as like inviting anybody into her world, or to, like, how would I say, get into her heart, and get into, have any kind of real heavy duty influence on how she feels about herself. So I think that this really does call for a shift in perspective, a surrendering, and a gentleness. We're a gentleness with not having it all figured out. A gentleness for yourself at this point on the Fool's Journey, really letting, like, your open heart be your guide. And because as we see here, even in this Hanged Man energy, this person has their arms behind their back and their heart chakra is just, like, totally open, right? And there's just, like, this crown, so it's kind of like this person is just, like, quite open, and they're very vulnerable, like they're hanging upside down. So I think that there is a lot of strength in vulnerability in this part. Okay. This is long. Really long. It's a long exercise. So here's the Death card, everyone's favorite. Transformation, things changing. And so there's that. We have this little Page of Wands. Maybe there's a whole new little passion. It's like, okay, on this part of the Fool's Journey, like, the heart was open with the Queen of Cups. And, when our heart is open, like, new passions can come in, and new ideas and new inspiration and stuff like that. So, perhaps this death part in the journey was a death to the guardedness, and a death to the rigid kinds of ways of being. And then there was, like, this gradual unfolding and gradual opening of the heart chakra, and and then there's the Page of Wands. So there's a brand new something, brand new spark in the face of this change. Okay. So then there's Temperance and It's like patience and waiting, and I don't know, maybe not really waiting, more like patience and balance and focus and flexibility. What B? What am I doing? D? Yeah, the Three of Cups. See, if ever, like, on the Fool's Journey, you're in a place, like, say if there's a whole nother goal, like, right prior to this with the Death card, there was the brand new spark, the brand new goal, brand new idea, brand new passion, feeling maybe like a newbie in the new pursuit. And then after that, it's kind of like, all right, well, I need to have some patience and some balance. One foot in, one foot out, just have some flexibility and go with the flow. And while I'm doing that, I'm gonna be with my people. I'm gonna be with my close friends and allies, and I will have love around me, And so with this too, I always really like how she's not spilling a drop. It's like there's such a focus there, and there's her crown chakra, and it's just like there's a very, like, a calm trust that everything's gonna be all right, and it's like all divinely guided, like it's like when you're in the flow, you don't have to chase after anything. Like, the sun is gonna rise and set on the new day, and it's like you just keep on, you live your life, and you don't have to rush, but you don't have to lag. It's just being present, being very present, and going, enjoying the love that you have around you and being with your friends. The Devil. This is usually the part in the Fool's Journey that we get to kind of get back in touch with some of those things that make us feel a little weak in the knees, and get back in touch with the areas of ourselves that are just like, total suckers for whatever it is, and boom. I'm telling you, your girl is in this reading right here. Who's codependent? All right, what's the kryptonite? The kryptonite here is the sweetie cutie pie Knight of Cups. But it's so important to remember that these Knight of Cups, that they can come and go, or they can, like, stay for a little while, but it's so important to just stay really aware of yourself and hold on to yourself, because it can be very easy to be like, ooh, and like just like completely get lost in this whole like Knight of Cups energy, and then all of a sudden maybe you find yourself back at the Five of Pentacles, all in some weird cold codependent garbage. So here you go. Okay, so remember to do that work around the Devil, Robin. Okay, so here's the Tower. What kind of stuff is gonna crumble before your eyes? No, the Two of Cups. Okay, so the Knight of Cups. I don't know, why does the Two of Cups have to be connected to the Tower? This needs some meditation. It just came to me. Okay, so preceding the Tower, there's the Devil, right? And with the Devil, we picked the Knight of Cups. And the lesson, the invitation was like, okay, like stay mindful of your codependent tendencies, or like, stay mindful of your tendency to like just throw yourself completely in with like the Knight of Cups, and throw yourself into a relationship and then like forget all about that really awesome business you're working on, or forget about hanging out with your girlfriends. And it's like there's a way of like getting really consumed with a partner when it's like really great, but you have to hang on to yourself. So I think that this tower here is an ending of that codependent business. This is the ending of the old ways of getting totally wrapped up in somebody else and having that person determine your happiness. Because look at here, you have the Two of Cups. So if it's the ending of a codependent way, then you have a new beginning of like a very even interdependent way. And there's a lot of that's a very positive thing. This is also indicative of yourself being still tuned into yourself, because the Two of Cups can also remind us that yes, we can have partnership, but ultimately we have a partnership and a relationship with ourselves, our higher self, our inner self. And that is very important to still to hold on to as a core, so you don't lose yourself in another person. So I think that the Tower in this instance is the end of the losing of oneself in a relationship. Okay. Now the Star. Nice and hopeful. Wishes granted. Wishing on a star. Okay, then you got the Two of Pentacles. So, with the Star, with new hopes, there can be a juggling. Like, say, for instance, you just, on this Fool's journey, you just went through this situation where you're coming together with another person and really working on your own codependency, like your codependent business, or not business, like money-making business, I mean like internal business. So this comes after the falling of the Tower of the codependent. And so I think that with this Star, that there's a hope for the future, like a hope to be able to balance everything. Like, I'm going to remain like hopeful and have this beautiful, bright star and beautiful, beautiful, bright star energy. And, here this person's naked and they're out in the day, and it's like, the fresh breeze on their little tush, and like you got the water and everything. So you're like going with the flow and feeling very like trusting and open and vulnerable, but yet comfortable. Like this person's completely comfortable being totally nude right here. And it's fine because, no one's around unless I don't know what those things are. But anyways, so yeah, so like this person is like feeling free of any kind of restrictions, self-imposed restrictions, going with the flow. This really reminds me so much of the Temperance card as well, because it's like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and there's like water, and so basically I keep, getting to the point is keeping hope that things can stay in balance, being able to balance work and play, business and relationship, home and family, like just keeping things up. And, I don't want to get too Pollyanna about this aspect, but, because it's a very hopeful spot, but this can also be a little bit hard sometimes. We see like rough waters in the back, and usually in another deck, this juggler is like rolling on a log, trying to balance themselves on a log. So this is also, I think, speaking to how that can be our hope, and we can always put our hope in this direction, and it's not going to be perfect all the time, and that's okay, because the intention is to keep all the balls in the air, but you'll definitely, the juggler doesn't ever never drop a ball, right? Like, that's just a part of the experience. So in keeping that hope of keeping things off the ground is really good. Close to being done. The wrong one. Okay. I have to go to do this on the quick. Okay, the moon. There can be some hidden fears around stuff. So here we are. Is this the 7 or 8? Is it 8? 8 of Pentacles. So, you're totally mastering the art of fear and illusion. No. Just really, there could be some fears with regard to work. On this Fool's Journey, like, let's say, like, you're starting a new business, and you're working really hard. And while you're working really hard at your business or whatever line of work that you are doing and that you're passionate about, like, this person loves this work. Like, this is like they are just doing it, right? And it's building up. And, but there can be, illusions about the work, fears about the work. It's just important to, continue to evaluate if this is like making you happy, and like be sure to, along this journey, like, be realistic about your endeavors, be realistic about your business, be realistic about your work, and see everything for what it is. And yeah. Yeah, just pay attention to the messages. I don't know, this one's kind of stumped me. It hasn't fully stumped me, it stumped me a little bit. I don't know, what I get from it is like really being realistic and keeping your eyes open, and like, let's say there are fears and there are illusions about what you're doing. Like, is what I'm doing really paying off? Is what I'm doing going to be successful? Like, I feel successful. Like, is it ever going to be to this other thing? Or like, it's just kind of like there can be a lot of fears around work and business, about whether or not you're doing the right thing, if it's worth it, all that stuff. So I think that that's a part of this Fool's Journey. Okay, only 2 more. Okay, the Sun. Okay, really? You're gonna be like on the Sun card, you're gonna be all bored. Okay, well, so like maybe you have reached like the Sun, you reached this ideal, you reached the pinnacle of a very high point in your journey, and you come to find that you're still kind of bored. Or like there's something that you're like still unsatisfied. Like, why are you unsatisfied with the Sun? You got this goofy little baby on a horse, and that little dude is funny. So, anyways, yeah, what's going on? The Hand of Fate is handing you something, and you're kind of bummed, or you're kind of bored, or whatever. So perhaps it is that you find stability in the place of the Sun, right? You've worked really hard, and on this Fool's Journey, you've arrived. But, have you ever arrived and then been like, really? This is it? So, I don't know. Like, maybe this is some more work to do. Something to be done here. Yeah. I would say that maybe, yeah, that this person doesn't feel as excited or as satisfied with having arrived. Like, maybe the goal or the ideal was way bigger than what they thought it was going to be. Even though there isn't anything wrong, there is a bunch of happiness around them. What is it that's missing? What are you missing? because you're not looking at this, whatever this is. Okay. Oh, you know what I think? I think I missed. I think that Justice card I messed up. I think I gave the interpretation for the Judgment card. Whatever. Okay, Judgment. Queen of Swords. This is like, okay, evaluate and cut out the stuff that you don't need. Like, evaluate. Yep, I'm pretty sure I gave the interpretation of the Judgment card over the Justice. I always get those mixed up. But anyways, so this is the one. This is the Crossroads card, the Judgment card. This is the calling yourself out on your stuff. Call yourself out on your stuff at this point in the journey, right? And this is the best kind of energy to have with this, because this gal is not going to sugarcoat anything. She's going to cut it out, whatever it is that's not serving the highest good. And I don't know. There's really nothing else to say about. I mean, there's probably more to say, but I don't know. I'm kind of running out of time. But there it is. Like this. I couldn't have picked. I couldn't have intentionally picked a better card to go with this than this. I think that's awesome. This is very powerful energy to go with the Judgment. Self-evaluation. Queen of Swords. All right. Now, at the end of the cycle. The end of the cycle, the world, you got the fame. So it looks like this Fool's Journey really just culminated in a very exceptional way. And that's amazing. Like, look at a totally different place where this person ended up. This person started at the 5 of Pentacles, and now here they are at the 6 of Wands in the culmination of their Fool's Journey. That's amazing. A lot of lessons learned around here, huh? Oh, wow, that's cool. Oh, that's so cool. I love it. Okay, guys. Thank you.